Hey, this is Lorena and I wanted to do a video for you on how much it costs my clients to ship a quilt to me. Yeah, I thought maybe you guys like to know, because maybe you want to ship a quilt to a Longarmer or something, and I'm going to share with you how much it could cost you. Alright, kind of like an average, okay? Let's get going. I just recently had a quilt shipped to me by a client, and so she ended up talking to me on the phone. She messaged me. She's one of the beautiful subscribers, viewers, one of y'all. And me and her had a conversation about what the process would be for me to quilt a quilt from her, especially when out of state. Yeah, out of state. I ended up talking to her and telling her that she could ship the quilt to me priority. I recommend, if you're going to ship a quilt to someone, priority is the way to go. And those of you that are shipping your quilt, you don't want to lose your quilt because it took a lot of work. So I like priority. Priority also, you could put, I think, insurance on it, and you can track it. So on the phone, you can track when the shipping will be delivered there. And I've had clients ship stuff to me and they literally tell me it should be at your door in 30 minutes or in an hour. Did you get it? And then I text them back, yes, I got it. So there is that way of making sure that the item did get to its destination. So shipping. I had one client ship a quilt to me. She shipped me 5 quilts. It wasn't priority. It was, you know, the post office, and it ended up shipping a street over. Yeah. So these nice little elderly people came and brought the box to me, saying, we have a box that belongs to you. And oh my God, they would have been horrible to lose. Yeah, that box had 5 quilts in it. That would have been the worst. If you, the client, are shipping a quilt to a business, a Longarmer, let the Longarmer know. One, make sure the Longarmer knows. Give the Longarmer the tracking number so she can keep an eye on the package. But let her know. When one of my clients sent me a box with 5 quilts in it, I did not even expect anything. It kind of randomly, the lady brought it to me and showed it to me. I wasn't messaged on Facebook, messaged on my phone. There was nothing. So I wasn't aware that anything was coming. Communicate with them. 2, let them know when you shipped it. 3, send them the tracking number. I recommend priority because they give you tracking numbers. If you do ground, you never know. But yes, be in communication with whoever you're going to send your quilt to. You don't want to lose that quilt. Believe me, it can happen. And it's really not the Longarmer's fault. Yeah, and then it's really not your fault, but it's, you know, who do you blame? So recently I had a quilt sent to me. I did communicate with the piecer, and she told me she was gonna get the quilt back ready for me. Communication is the key to this whole process. She did ship it priority like I asked her to. The shipping for one quilt, and I will show you the measurements of that quilt, was $13.99. So it's not a lot to ship a quilt top and a quilt back. I don't think you can see it, but okay, and when you're shipping a box, let me recommend this, but the smaller the box or the bag, the better. It will be cheaper for you. And so I found some of the best places to find the best boxes for a quilt top that is a twin, full, or even a queen. I get my boxes at Dollar General. I talked to the manager recently and I asked her if I could possibly get boxes. You know, they unpack a whole bunch of stuff, and the boxes are the best size. You want them to not be very wide or very long or very tall. So if you can try to shove a quilt into a small container, the better for you and the better the price, especially if you're shipping them back. I used to never take quilts from other people other than in my local community, but recently I've started shipping quilts out a lot more for clients who are shipping to me. Some of the clients that I am shipping to are clients that were local but they moved, and so they still want me to do their long arming for them. So let me share one of the best sizes boxes that I found. This size is not too wide, if you can see it. It's not too tall. And this is an Amazon box, but this is kind of like the general size I try to look for. Now, if you can get a quilt in a smaller size, they even have where it kind of cuts off here. That would be great for a twin or a throw. The reason you want it to be a smaller size because it will be a smaller price range. So this is a quilt that I'm going to ship. If you could stuff the living daylights out of it because you'll pay less for shipping. I already have my client's quilt here. I'll bring you down a bit. This quilt is so pretty. I have already ironed it, trimmed it. I also have made sure that all the basting thread is off. Try to fold it as small as I possibly can. Febreze trash bags, I love these. The reason I use a scented trash bag is, I don't know if you know that every house has a certain smell. So sometimes when a client brings me their quilt, it has their kind of scent on it. Well, my house, I'm sure, has its own scent. And I want them, when they open the quilt, to smell the Glade, the scent of the bag. Also too, as it's being shipped, I always put it in a bag because I don't know if it may get wet, it may get rained on. And I have these beautiful scented trash bags. So good. Any material that belongs to the client, I put in the bag to thank them for shipping the quilt for me. It's like a huge, like it's a lot to ship a quilt when they probably have Longarm quilters that are local. I always end up finding little threads that I've purchased that I'm not using. I have scissors, notions, you know, some of my gadgets that I love, and I'll put a gadget or two in the bag to thank them for coming to me. And you know, who would not love a fresh pair of scissors and a card thanking them for just bringing their quilt to me. So this quilt top, if I put a quilt top in here, and that's when it's already quilted, the batting puts weight on the quilt, and of course some of the threading puts a little bit of weight on the quilt. In general, this size of a box will probably cost me from $18 to $25. So it depends on the weight of the quilt. So the weight of the quilt will differ based on the kind of material they use, especially antique quilts. They're a little bit weightier because they're using poly. Also too, the kind of batting that I use, the weight differs. So a lot of clients, when I offer to give them a discounted rate on the batting to kind of work with them having to ship a quilt, no one ever says no to me. So recently I had a quilt sent to me. It cost her $13, maybe $14 as a whole. When I shipped her the quilt, I believe it came out to $22. And when I ship everything, I ship it priority. It doesn't get lost. And also too, when I ship it priority, it only takes maybe $1 or $2 to put more of insurance on the quilt. So the quilt, the client will pay me whatever they pay me. I will insure what they've paid me if the quilt gets lost. Even though the quilt is probably more valuable, I will add a couple dollars for insurance. And I will send my client the routing number, the tracking number, so that they know that their quilt is on its way, and let them know specifically the date that was told to me that it should be shipped. And sometimes I have the package signed, and sometimes I just let the client know that it's on its way and that they need to be ready for it. So yeah, that's how I ship my quilts to my clients. It's a lot of work, but it's not bad.